Hi, welcome to another iPrecision video. This time I want to explain the results view of iPrecision, so the view where you see the video back and the graphs and a few other features, including a newly added feature. This isn't the results view from EP Animations, that'll be in a separate video to follow this one, and this one's specifically for iPrecision itself. So there's a couple of things to look at here. Let's start here on the main view of iPrecision. You can see here I've analysed a video already. The view results button is available. But first I want to explain this button here, the load previous results button. This used to be down in the bottom right, but I moved it to make a bit more space for the videos here. Now it's up here, and if you click on that, it's how you get to videos which have been analysed in the past. So if you go to that, it should go to your output directory which you've selected, and then you'll see a list of videos. And for example, this 2i example I want to use for explanation now. On Mac, you click on the folder, just a single click, not double click, and then click on Open. On Windows, instead of Open, it's Select Folder. And then when you click on that button, it will open up the results view, including the video, the graphs, and the options for that video. So I'll use this one first to explain how this works for this was a 2i analysis. There are a couple of differences from if you've analysed 1i or 2i's. Starting with the 2i analysis then, at the top you've got the video playback area, so if I just click play quickly there, you see the video, and you see the markings where the program has tracked the pupils, the area that it's searching for the pupils, so when you select your eye area before analysing the video, this is the area that's been marked, and the coordinates of each pupil and the secondary marker if you're using that. So this is the head stabilization marker. And in this video you can watch it back to make sure everything tracks as it should, check that it is actually following the pupils, check that it actually is following the secondary head position. So to watch the video back, you've got the playback controls, play, pause, skipping forwards one frame at a time, backwards one frame at a time, scrubbing through the video, going to different parts earlier and later, and the playback speed, slow, normal, fast. Once you get to the end, then the video quite often kind of just disappears, but if you hit play again, it'll just start again from the beginning. So like I said, you want to make sure that it's tracking properly, that it is actually tracking what it says it's tracking, and this can be useful as well to compare to your graphs and to show to test subjects. Underneath the video and underneath the playback controls, you then have the graph and the graph controls. So start with the graph itself. Got default to start with two graphs, the horizontal deviation and the vertical deviation. There's a big difference between 1i and 2i mode. For 2i mode, you have the left eye graph, the right eye graph showing both eye positions, horizontal and vertical, and the graph showing convergence and divergence. There are less options on the 1i graph, obviously. We'll come to that in a moment. If we look at the graphs themselves, so the top graph, the blue line, is the x deviation, so the horizontal deviation left to right. And what is noted here as well, in case you forget, when the line goes up the blue line, that means the eye is moving to the right, so left on the screen, right in real life. And when the line goes down, obviously that means it's moving to the left. The green line, the vertical line, so it's easier to remember, up is up and down is down. And what you see here, there's a bit of a drift vertically, so the eyes start higher than they end up, despite the head position marking. But the left to right is fairly evenly in the space you'd expect. You can zoom in on certain parts of the graph, so you think, okay, I really want to see these pursuits here. You can zoom in and drag and drop and have a look at that area of the graph. You can move around in the graph with the pan button. You can go back to seeing the whole graph by clicking on reset there. And if you hover on the graph, it'll give you the exact coordinates. Probably not always too useful, but they're there if you need them. So we've been through the different types of graph, but just to make sure, the graphs that show both horizontal or both vertical eye positions are kind of normalized, so they should basically match up. The red line is the right eye, the blue line is the left eye, to try and match up with the video here. And the convergence divergence graph In most cases you want to see a pretty flat line here. It depends how zoomed in it is, but basically this shouldn't be changing too much in most cases. But if you're working with these people, you probably know what you're looking for here. If I remember correctly, upwards is convergence and downwards is divergence. But obviously you want to make sure by looking at the video as well. Then underneath that there's a feature which I haven't really explained much in the past, but I think it's worth mentioning, the filtering options. So we'll go back to just the left eye here, and what we don't have in this video, and I'll explain this more in the other video, it's kind of spikes, kind of places with blinks or that kind of thing, and then you might want to remove them, just filter them out so you just get a bit cleaner data. In this case, no spikes on this video, it's pretty clean, but what we might want to do is zoom in a bit to remove some of the empty space around the video. So what we'll see here, this grey dotted line, here it is minus 50, this one's plus 50. So everything from the blue line is between 50 of 0. So what we can do, we can say max deviation of 50. See, this is already at 50 the vertical, so we'll just stick that to 50 as well, and click on regenerate graphs, and then it removes some of the empty space around the graph. We could even zoom in a bit more on this blue line here, maybe go down to like 45, and there's no noise to remove on these videos on this graph, but it zooms in, gives you a bit of a clearer view. We'll show you where this is more useful in another video in a moment. If you want to save the image of the graph, you can click on Save Filtered Graph. If you want to save the data for analysis in other programs, then click on Save Filtered CSV, and it'll tell you where it saved it. And you can always reset it to where it was when you started. Then we have this new feature here, Remark Pupil, and the Open and Analyze in other EP programs. I'll show you them with the other video that I've analysed. So close this window down. Going back to this video, it's a colleague's. I hope she doesn't mind that I used it, but it's a nice example of a bit of a noisier video. It was quite a long one, so obviously she had to blink every so often. So if we click on View Results here, get the same basic view here. So the video at the top with the controls, the graphs, horizontal and vertical. But obviously in this case, there's only one eye to follow on the screen. So we can look at both horizontal and vertical, horizontal only, or vertical only. And what you notice here quite clearly on the horizontal and the vertical graphs are these big spikes. So if we scroll through the video a bit and click play, you see that's a blink there. Here again there'll be a nice big blink, maybe even a double blink, just a big blink, and all of these spikes here. They're not necessarily a problem, I mean, you can basically just ignore them, but that's what the filter function is for as well. If we just hit auto filter here, then it already removes the vast majority of the spikes, but we can also choose to clean it up a bit more. Again, we can see this barely goes above or below 50, so if we set this to about 60ish, then we should get rid of the other spikes as well. See, a much cleaner data set. It's not perfect, its blinks are still going on obviously, but it's a lot cleaner there. The vertical graph has also been cleaned up. You'll see here that it seems to follow the pursuits and the cascades as well. If you watch the video, you'll see that's because the eye doesn't move purely horizontally. When the eye goes to the right, I believe it also tends to move up quite a lot on this video. It's just the camera was a little bit skewed. The other functions then that have been newly added, this one just since today when I'm recording the video, the Remark Pupil function. Not really useful for this video or the other one I was showing you actually, because the tracking has basically worked well. There's no point that the program has completely lost the pupil outside of the blinks, but it happens sometimes. Maybe the test subject moves their head a lot, maybe they have a really long blink or a lot of blinks in a row, or there's some light artifacts that come in. So you might have a really nice trace and then suddenly it just completely loses it. So let's just say, just as a test, let's just say where this OPK starts here, so it looks noisy, but she's watching Optokinetic Stripes. Where this starts, let's say, okay, it's lost the pupil here. We're watching on the video and the red circle's going nicely along with the eye, and then suddenly it shoots off and grabs hold of our eyelashes here, for example. Then while we're on a frame where it's lost the pupil, as soon as possible after it's lost it, preferably. So you might want to use the frame buttons to move backwards and forwards. You can click on Remark Pupil and it'll show us the frame of the video we were on. This area is slightly out of view, but it doesn't matter for this one. We can say, okay, you thought the pupil was over here, but actually it's right here. So I'm going to say, track the pupil from this frame using this as a starting position and this as a brightness, a pupil threshold. Then if you click Confirm Remark, then what it's going to do is reanalyze the video using that data only from that point onwards. Takes a couple of seconds because it's running the same processing as otherwise. It will save the results file, and then from there on we get the new data. Obviously it's lost the filtering, so we'll put that back on. In this case, no real change because the pupil wasn't actually lost, but yeah, that's how it works in any case. And finally, the last button here, the Open and Analyze in other EP programs. So you've got EP animations, EP latencies, EP data. EP data is free, it's a small program, probably not useful for everyone, but you can get it on iprecision.com/downloads if you'd like. EP latency's been on sale for about a month now. That's Saccadic latencies, and I think most people already have EP animations. If you click on one of these buttons, you have the program loaded on your computer. Then it will open the program up and take the data file which has been generated for this results view automatically into that program. Just saves a step of clicking around. So I think that's everything about the results view. I hope that clears a few things up. I haven't gone into what you're actually looking at on the graphs here. That's kind of how different kind of education is, not so much the technical stuff, but hopefully you've got a good understanding of, for example, if there's a little jump in a saccade, what that might mean. Jump in a pursuit, sorry. But yeah, hopefully it makes a bit of sense then what you're actually looking at on the program itself. I hope that's helpful. Thanks.